Welcome to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by LA's First Choice Auto Auction on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's your chance to hear directly from the head of Lion Football. Now, live from Topola Catering in downtown Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
One in the Southland Conference, but nationally the Lions are still receiving respect as Southeastern remain in the top 25 this week in both polls. This weekend it's homecoming in Hammond, and Southeastern welcomes in defending Southland Conference champ and the red-hot Incarnate Word Cardinals in the Strawberry Stadium for a 4 o'clock kick. Incarnate Word started off conference play by losing to Sam Houston State, but have put together back-to-back wins to get to 2-1 in the conference. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented as always by the Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction, live from our home, Topola Catering, right here in Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be tonight, whether listening on the Lions Radio Network or watching live on the Southeastern Sports Network through YouTube. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock, and over the next hour, we'll get Coach Scelfo to break down this past week's game against McNeese State. Offensive coordinator Greg Stevens is here, and we'll hear from him, and we'll get you all you need to know about Homecoming 2019 and the Incarnate Word Cardinals, the Lions' opponent for this weekend. First, let's take a break. When we come back, I'll be joined by the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Frank Scelfo. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo is presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topola on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
What do you love most about being a student athlete at Southeastern?
So I chose teammates for life because on our golf team, nobody's from the same spot, but the friendships we've made once we graduate, I know we'll always be friends, we'll always see each other, we'll always come back and visit.
All right, welcome back. Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topola, right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Thank you so much for joining us as we'll now welcome to the show the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions. The reason you're listening, the reason you're here, Coach Frank Scelfo. Coach, thanks for being here this evening.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it. Thank everybody here for coming.
Well, Coach, we
Appreciate
knew it.
Everybody.
Yeah, great crowd on hand here today. We want to thank everybody that came on out.
Thank you.
If you're just joining our program, if you've never been with us so far this year, we're doing something a little bit different. We're giving stuff away each and every week. We got a nice Lion blanket we're going to give away later on at the show. So if you haven't been to a show, make sure you. It's nice.
Good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So we're going to give away a blanket. If you are just coming in, you can give your name to Kimmler Chapel over there.
Free,
He'll put you.
right?
Free.
Just
join
put your
in.
name in the.
Put your name in there, and you can walk out of here with a Lion blanket. Coach, last week we talked about it at length. That certainly it was going to be a tough trip to go over there to McNeese State. It's a place that we haven't had a lot of success. It's hard to win over. A lot of people haven't had a lot of success. It's hard to go over there and win. And it was a game where you look up, and it's 24-3 at one point, and we're almost stunned a little bit. And you come all the way fighting back. You've been talking about it's going to take 60 minutes to beat this football team, and you take the lead twice in the fourth quarter. Just couldn't make enough plays there down the stretch to get a victory.
Yeah, I really like this team, Al. I mean, we had do we do everything right? No, it's a challenge with us sometimes. We got some knuckleheads. I understand that, but it starts with me. But I know this: when the passion that those guys have to play this game, the entire game for full 60 minutes, we're never out of it.
Yeah. And
we're down 24-3, and I kind of felt like, last year we might have got beat 41-14. I don't know. This bunch here, man, you could feel it on the sidelines. It's okay. Let's go. Keep fighting. We scored 2 touchdowns right there late in the first half. Went down there, scored 3 and out, got it back. Went down there, scored again. It's 24-17. Go into the locker room and said, "Let's go. This is where we got them right where we want them." And like you said, we just couldn't make enough plays at the end. We got behind the 8 ball with 2 turnovers on the first 2 possessions, which resulted in the 10 points for them. And that was the unfortunate part. And then we had a first and goal where we jumped up. We had a false start at the 2-yard line and backed us up. We had to settle for a field goal. So we had some opportunities, but we got to give McNeese credit. They're a good football team. They've got a great venue to play at. They've always been good there. They had to go 93 yards in the fourth quarter to win the game, and to go ahead, and they did. And then they had to stop us to win the game, and they did. So they did what they needed to do to win, and we didn't get it done. And that's the story of the game from my standpoint.
Coach, I will say this, from being down there on the sideline with your team and your coaching staff, never at any point, even when it was 24-3, I don't feel like anybody thought that we were ever going to lose that football game. I thought everybody still thought we were going to win that game and come back, and we did. We got right back in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I think that the mindset from within, which is our culture, which is what we talk about all the time, that when you feel bad and you don't feel like doing something, that's the best time to do it, because that's when you're going to break through that ceiling. And we've been able to do that this year. We do it in practice. We did it in camp. We did it in our summer workouts. And it's carrying over to the games where we have an opportunity in the game to show everybody what we're really about. And like I said, do we make mistakes? Heck yeah, everybody does. Nobody goes through a game mistake-free, and nobody has all the answers how to stop the turnovers and penalties and all those things. People care. Where it becomes a problem is when those mistakes, nobody cares enough. And our guys care enough about it. And because of that, that's why you always feel like you have a chance. But that's why they feel like they have a chance too.
Certainly so. Lions were down 24-3 at one point in this game, make it 24-17, go into the locker room, take the lead in the fourth quarter. If just the kind of, stats are misleading sometimes, and you do your homework going into this game as a member of the media, and going into this game, if I said, hey, we're going to score 34 points over there, you probably felt like a pretty good chance you were going to win the game. They hadn't been really explosive offensively, and they've been really hard to score on. So to be able to put up 34 points over there, pretty good performance, even though you left some out there. Just couldn't get a stop there on a couple of possessions, because we took the lead actually twice there in the fourth quarter.
We did. And the first time we took the lead, our defense went back out there and they fought and battled, and they jumped back ahead of us. Well, I was really proud of the offense being able to step up and do it again and go back down and score again. And I think that goes back to one side of the ball not just doing their job, not saying, "Come on, you guys got to stop them." Man, that was not the finger pointing and the blame game. That's not going on. What's going on is there's a lot of encouragement, and if you don't get it done, we'll get it done. We'll take care of it. And that's the part where I feel like we've always got a chance to win, because our guys are going to play hard. You didn't come to that game and walk away and say, well, they didn't play hard today, because they played hard. And I'll challenge anybody to tell me that they didn't. So I was happy to see that our guys are continuing to play hard, and we're going to still work on some mistakes. But we got to give credit to McNeese. They did make some plays, and, good teams make plays, especially at home, and they're in a desperate situation, and they had it to win, and they did.
Coach, you see this a lot of times in sports, especially when a team has to come back from a pretty large deficit, where you spend so much energy coming back, and then almost at the end you run out of gas a little bit. Do you think that happened at all in that fourth quarter?
I didn't sense it. I felt like the 3rd and 13 run that they got coming off the goal line to start that drive. I thought that was a huge play for them, obviously. They had a fade route. None of the stuff they did wore us down. It was just an individual play. The 3rd and 13, he broke a couple of tackles. We talked about how good a back he was last week on this show. They had a fade route on a well-thrown ball, just over our corner's head. And the guy made a heck of a play. And then the last thing, we had a busted coverage on the post corner, or the corner post. And, those things happen. But I didn't feel like that we got tired, or we were worn out, or we were mentally beat. I didn't feel like any of that. I felt we were going to stop them all the way up until then. And then I felt like we could go back down there and score. And we had Austin down the field. We just he and Jason couldn't connect. And we had a chance. So, I hate that it's a loss. I hate that all these things happen. I wish it would have been a win just like everybody else did, but it wasn't. But we got some things. And I told the team today, we're not going to forget the good things that we did. We're going to make the corrections just like we do every week, and we're going to celebrate the things that we did well, and we did a lot of good things in that game.
Coach, this was certainly a tight one. It comes down to the wire. You dropped this one 38-34 to McNeese. I don't know if it's just because everyone knows that I'm going to be here with you on Monday, but I get a lot of questions throughout the day, and I think that certainly the biggest question for our fans about what happened in the game was what happened on the extra point, on the first extra point in the first quarter. So I guess I'll give you an opportunity to explain what the explanation was to you. And if you didn't see the game, if you weren't there, they kick an extra point, and we block it and run it back for 2, but there was a whistle blown. So I'll let Coach kind of explain what the explanation was, because they actually got to go back out there and reattempt the kick.
Yeah, so basically what's happened, it's a scrimmage play. It's an offensive scrimmage play when they kick an extra point. And he bobbled it. He put it back up. The guy tried to kick it a little bit, I guess, and then it went off of one of our guys' legs, bounced out in front. Trey Spann scooped it and took off to the other side. Well, in between the time that it was actually kicked and he gained possession, the whistle blew. The referee blew the whistle. And because he blew the whistle, that's an automatic stoppage. Well, that stops the play. Because there was not a clear recovery at the time the whistle blew, which meant the play's dead. When there was not a clear recovery, by rule, which the rule interpretation was correct, by rule, the offensive team has an opportunity to go back and play the play over again, have that down over again. It just so happened it was the extra point, so he got a chance to kick it again. If it would have been a scrimmage play, they would have gotten to go back and play that play over again if he wanted to. So by rule, the interpretation was correct, but it was just the guy blew the call. He came over and he apologized. I know that does nothing.
It's a 3-point swing.
It does nothing for me, for him to apologize. I just want him to get it right. But he made a mistake, and, we just got to move on. It is a 3-point swing, but that's not what costs us a game. I told the players a lot of things happen during the course of a game. That's not what costs you the game, but it does have an impact on the game. And, he didn't feel good about it, I can tell you that, and I don't either.
So just to clarify, so if they'd have ruled they blew the whistle after we picked it up, then it would have just been no good. It
would have been a no good. We wouldn't have been able to run it back because it was dead. But if we had possession, then they would not have had an opportunity to re-kick, and it would have been a 6-0 game. That's right.
Well, Coach, thanks for explaining that. I'm telling you, I know that a lot of people wanted to hear what the explanation was.
I did,
it was
too.
It was a bizarre
believe
call.
Me, I wanted to hear what the explanation was, too, because I sure didn't understand what the heck was going on.
Well, I mean, just being down there, I knew that you weren't happy with it. They blew the whistle, but then when they ran the kicker back out there, it was like, wait, almost the double fact, the double.
I was upset,
dose.
and then I calmed down. It's kind of like when my wife buys a real expensive pair of shoes and I get upset about it. And then I finally relax and I turn around and she says, do you like the outfit that goes with it? And it costs twice. And I go, no, okay. Now we really got to talk about, explain to me why this is working like this.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to break more of this one. That was a really good one. I'm going to go to break on that one.
Works for me.
All right, this is Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Before the house, before the office, the late nights and new bosses. Before the last hugs, the wins and the losses. Before building the team, before building yourself, the rise and grinds, all day, every days. Before the letter, before the dream, there was a kid who loved to play. If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
What opportunity has Southeastern provided you that you will forever be thankful for?
Southeastern's giving me the education I need for my future. Whether or not I go pro, I know I'm going to be successful.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southeastern!
All right, welcome back. Just getting started here on Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo. We want to thank Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction for being our title sponsor, and obviously Topla. Right here at Topla Catering in downtown Hammond. We'll be here each and every Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock, and we do have a bye week next week, but we will still be here. So put it on your calendar to make sure you're here next week as we'll be breaking down the Incarnate Word game. But before we get to the Incarnate Word game, who we play this week, it's homecoming. We're still talking about this McNeese one. Lions go on the road. It was a crazy game. We dropped the game 38-34. We trailed at one point by 21 points in the first half. In the second quarter, come all the way back, take a couple leads in the fourth quarter, and you got to tip your hat to McNeese. They go 89 yards late in the ball game to win the football game 38-34. Coach, I guess looking at these things and kind of breaking it down, I thought that they came in and really tried to establish running the football. Did that surprise you at all? Had they been doing that? I mean, they ran the ball almost 2-1 in this game.
Yeah, no, they had. A lot of the stuff was checked with me at the line of scrimmage, so you could see they were checking the boxes, see what it looks like. And if we had a 5-man box, they would check and run. If we had a 6-man box, they threw the football basically. And we gave them a lot of 5-man box to force them into the run. They had a lot of rushing yardage, but they had 57. I think it was 57 carries. So their total on rushing yardage was below 4 yards a carry. And, when you can do that, you're doing a pretty good job. Now, they had a couple of runs, explosives, that obviously you wish had not taken place. Right. But we had some tackle for losses. I think we had 4 tackle for losses. So we were able to get some penetration. I thought Ryan Cherry really played probably his best game this year. getting into the backfield, being disruptive in the run game, and that was it was really good to see because he's really coming along.
We had a couple of sacks in this one, but I thought overall we had a little trouble getting back there to him.
We did.
Just because they were running the football so much?
They run the ball well, so you don't get off the ball
Right.
as hard getting up the field, right? So, and then the other thing, he's mobile. He moves around. Kobe does a good job just moving around in the pocket and buying him some time, and either throwing it away or take off running. He didn't have a lot of rushing yardage, which I was real happy to see because we spied. And when you spy, you take one man out of the rush rotation, so you only have a three-man rush then. But, because he was able to do that and keep the play alive, he got a couple of throws down the field. But I thought our coverage for the most part was good. We had those busted coverages that led to touchdowns. And 12 of 29. That's as efficient as you can get. Holding less than 4 yards a carry. We just can't have those breakdowns, and that's what cost you.
No doubt. Coach, I want you to break us down late in the first half. You're down, like we said, we were down by 21. We score a touchdown. We get the football right back and we score again. I want you to take us through the decision to go for it on fourth down around midfield. We had about 45 seconds left. They had some timeouts. At that point, it's 24-10. I don't know if anybody in the building thought you were going to snap that football and go for it. Talk about that decision. Did you just feel like you had some momentum at that time, trying to go down and cut that thing in half?
We felt like we needed to score before half. And I thought offensively we had just gone down and scored. And I didn't think they could stop us. And I believe in these guys, Al.
Yeah.
I do. And they feel that. They know that. I mean, they're excited about to go for it on fourth down. Is that against the odds? Probably so. Probably the best play would have been to punt it down there and then
it worked
let them
out
run
right
the clock out. But I like if it wouldn't have worked, then everybody would have been saying that. But it did work.
It was a big play to get us back in.
It was. But again, it's our guys just executing. We were 3 for 3 on fourth downs, the other night. And I think our guys can do that. I think we can. I think in a 4-play rack, we can pick up a first down against anybody, and I'm willing to do that. But for us to get back in this thing and for us to have the confidence and take it into the locker room, I felt that was the right thing to do. I told Greg we're in 4 down. I said this whole drive we'll be in 4 down. And I told Lance, I said, get ready. We're going to be in 4 down. If this thing doesn't work out, get him on the field, stop him, which I felt he could do. I think that their scores early are not indicative of how we were playing, and I thought we did a much better job. And obviously, in the third quarter, we came out and shut them out on defense, but I thought we were playing better in the second quarter towards the end of that part leading into half, that our guys still had some momentum and they were starting to tire a little bit. So I just felt good about it, and I felt good about both sides of the ball. If we gave them the ball at midfield, I didn't think they were going to score.
Well, I mean, certainly the gamble paid off. All the coaches on the sideline over there where I stand. We all thought
they got a lot of them.
We thought you were a quick kicker or something, but you decided to go for it.
They got a bunch of good coaches.
It was certainly a big play in the game. You go down and score, make it a 7-point game. Going into the locker room, you come out, you take the lead, and I think one thing I don't want to get lost in this. I think that people are going to say in that fourth quarter we had a couple of chances to get off the field and get some stops, and we didn't, and they were able to go down there and score. But there was a period that our defense just totally shut them down to give us an opportunity to get back. We scored 24 unanswered. So when we were scoring, we weren't allowing them to score to get back in the game. Now, it didn't work out. We didn't get a stop there in the fourth quarter, but we had a bunch of stops there in the middle of the game to give us a chance to get back in there.
Yeah, I think the end of the second quarter and the entire third quarter was a complete shutout. We threw a shutout on them. So our defense did rise and did do the things they needed to do. They just made a couple more plays on us at the end of the game. But when you look back over the course of the game and the ebb and flow of it, they had the momentum early, which when you play at home, that's what you want to have. You want to have a knockout blow, and you want to get somebody out of there, and then you blow them out. You run them off the field. They had an opportunity to do that. They didn't do it. So now we had a chance when we came back to put them away. It was our opportunity to put those guys away. We couldn't get it done. So you got to give them some credit.
Coach, I'm going to talk to Coach Greg Stevens here as well, offensive coordinator, about this. But I wanted to ask maybe an adjustment you made there in the second half. I really thought McNeese was trying to take away the outside, the perimeter, and you were able to hit a couple of passes down the middle of the field. Is that something y'all saw and made a couple of adjustments? We had the long one to Lorenzo on a fourth down for a touchdown. We hit Branson Schwabel one time down the middle for a big gain as well. But it really looked to me like they were playing those safeties on the hash and really not letting us throw corner routes or out routes, trying to jump out there and hit and try to take those away.
Right, yeah, and I thought Greg made a good adjustment. The one to Lorenzo down the middle, they had an all-out pressure. And somebody had to bust the coverage because somebody was supposed to pick up Zoe when he took off down the middle. Chasen did a great job seeing it and getting the ball out of his hands because they had an extra guy coming. He got the ball out of his hands, hit Zoe in stride, and that resulted in that. With Branson, that was a schematic deal that Greg and the offensive staff came up with to make sure he was going to be open on a play action and hit him down the seam. Safety split, backwards bit, and then that put him right behind those guys. And then Branson did a heck of a job afterwards, bouncing off some guys. And I think it was, 18 yards after contact that he was able to gain. So it was two different situations, but I thought the execution from our standpoint was really good.
Coach, this one didn't go your way. They make a couple plays there in the fourth quarter, but I just felt down there on the field, this loss just felt a little different than maybe it did a year ago. This hurt. It hurt your team. I mean, talk about that. And what did you say to your team after this one?
After the game, there was a lot of emotion in the locker room. And when you're able to show your emotion to somebody, then there's a lot of trust in those people. Because I think in life in general, when you hold back and you don't allow yourself to be emotionless, it's a lot of times you're not around people that you trust, that you love. And in that locker room, there was a lot of emotion. So that made you feel good as a coach from the standpoint that there's some love and trust in there. It's okay for them to show their emotion and to be emotional because it did hurt them. And that is a positive. That's uplifting. That gives us hope for what's going forward. And I told them that in the meeting today that's the reason I love them, that they're starting to care for each other, and because of that, we're getting the results that we wanted. This didn't come through in a win or a loss today or Saturday, but it's going to help us, and we're going to be able to grow from it in the future.
All right, well, let's go ahead and turn the page from this one. We're going to take a break. When we come back, offensive coordinator Greg Stevens is here. We're going to talk with him, and then we're going to start talking exclusively about Incarnate Word, the Lions' opponent for this weekend. They'll be in Strawberry Stadium for a 4 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Let's take a break. We come back, we'll have more on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
Why do you support Southeastern Athletics?
So Southeastern is where our family started. We met my wife here, met all our friends here, and now it's given us 2 beautiful children, and now it's part of our family.
All right, welcome back. Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's homecoming week here in Hammond. Southeastern will take on Incarnate Word at 4 o'clock in Strawberry Stadium. The homecoming parade is at 12, so make sure you come on out, as you can go on linesports.net and find the route, but it's going to run through Friendship Circle and all that right there. So 12 o'clock on Saturday will be the homecoming parade. At this time, we're going to welcome the show offensive coordinator here for Southeastern, Coach Greg Stevens. Coach, thanks for stopping by and spending a few minutes with us this evening.
Good to be here.
Greg, what's the difference, man? I mean, this has been a big turnaround offensively from a year ago to this year. I mean, a lot of the same players, which I think certainly helps, but a year ago this offense averaged 25.5 points per game. You're up to over 37 points per game now, almost 2 full touchdowns ahead of a year ago. Talk about the way your group has progressed through these first 5 games.
Well, like you said, we got a lot of kids back from last year, and we're playing a lot better as a team. We're executing better. The guys are taking coaching a lot better, and we've just grown. I think not only offensively, but as a team as a whole.
Coach, talk about Chase and Virgil. I mean, obviously he's pulling the trigger, and when he plays well, our offense certainly has a chance to score a lot of points.
Yeah, Chasen, I think, has really improved off of last year, and he's had a good start to this season. Probably didn't play as good as he'd like to have this past weekend, but he's doing a good job. He's been real accurate throwing the football, and he's really improved as a leader as well.
Coach, talk about Cole Kelly. I want to, this is a guy that is, he has a unique skill set. He's a very big guy. But one thing is you've been using him a lot in this run package, but you're throwing the football with him as well. And it seems like you're pulling the right strings. He threw 3 passes this past week. 1 was for a first down and 2 were for touchdowns. Talk about Cole and how he has, I guess, accepted his role in this offense and how that each and every week, is that something that's scripted? Is it situational based? What is the plan for him going on this year?
Yeah, so Cole's come in and he's worked real hard since he got here, and he's a very competitive kid, and he's talented. He didn't sign with the University of Arkansas and get all the recruiting because he wasn't talented. He's a talented kid. He is very big, and he's really helped us, in our short yardage situation and run situations, and has made some big plays for us. But they know going into the game what plays he has that are Cole's plays, and when we're going to do them and what situations.
What's their relationship like?
Very good. In fact, they're roommates, so they live together in the dorm, and but they're good. They get along real well. Complete different personalities, but they've really helped each other out.
We're talking with offensive coordinator Greg Stevens here for Southeastern Louisiana University, and one thing I've touched with Coach Scelfo throughout this season was the improvement of our receiving corps. 2 years ago, these guys were basically brought in. Most of these guys were brought in to run the option. And and then you come in here with Coach Scelfo, and y'all want to throw the football. You want to be balanced, but you're going to throw the football. Talk about how some of these guys have really evolved over the last couple of years. I mean, it looks like a totally different group this year than a year ago, and it's the same guys.
Yeah, well, CJ last year, he wasn't a freshman, I guess a redshirt freshman, and then Austin was a walk-on, and they're probably our 2 top receivers, or they have been thus far this year, but they've really improved from when we got here and to this point. Coach Spurlock's done a great job of helping them develop and stuff, and they've really worked hard in the weight room because they're both, smaller, slender guys, and they've worked hard in the weight room. And then, Juwan's done a good job for us, but he's had some injury problems here the last couple of weeks. And, we've had some young guys. Ed McGee, a freshman from just up the road, has done a real good job the last few games and made some big catches for us as well. And then, of course, Branson, is doing a great job at tight end for us.
He's certainly a mismatch, and he showed that this week, and showed some ball skills, going up, getting that toe tap there in the end zone. But he's certainly a luxury to have running there in the middle of the field.
Yeah, he is. His size, and Branson has real good hands. He catches pretty much everything that's thrown to him. And he's made some big plays for us, and hopefully he'll continue to do so as the season goes along.
I asked Coach Scelfo this, and you were sitting over there. I don't know if you heard, but did they do something? I mean, it looked to me like they were really trying to keep us from throwing the ball to the perimeter. And we hit some plays in the middle of the field in the second half. Is that something that was maybe an adjustment you made, or just something that Chasen saw that read a little better there in the second half?
No, not necessarily. They are, I think they feel real comfortable with their corners and stuff, and they were, coming up a little tighter and pressing and getting onto our guys. But the big play that we hit to Lorenzo, they were trying to go man and an all-out blitz. And earlier in the game they did that and chase and checked and hit CJ on a first down. Well, this time he noticed that they're bringing the guy over Lorenzo. No one lined up over Lorenzo, so he just hurried and snapped it and threw it to him. So it was a good adjustment by he and Lorenzo, and made a big play there.
We had both Devontae Williams and Marcus Cooper back this week.
Mm-hmm.
There's certainly mismatch problems, out on the perimeter. We've seen you throw the ball out there to them. We also saw a couple of young guys last week against Northwestern State, Kendall Collins, Teron Jones. So, I mean, the backfield looks like it's pretty solid with a lot of depth right there right now.
Yeah, it is. We really like the guys we have, and they're working hard. We still need to get Coop 100%. His ankle's still bothering him a little bit, but he showed Saturday night that he's ready to go and make some plays. He practiced again today. And Devontae as well. They both bounced back from being out of game from injury, and we feel real comfortable. Teron came in against Northwestern and ran for first 100-yard rusher we've had all season, and he runs real hard. He made a great the long pass call through to Lorenzo off the play action. TJ made a great. They had a blitzer come free. One of our O-linemen turned the guy loose, and TJ picked him up right in the face of Cole so he could deliver the throw too. So we feel real comfortable with putting TJ in there in any situation.
We're talking with Coach Greg Stevens, offensive coordinator here at Southeastern Louisiana University. And Greg, before I let you go, Incarnate Word comes in here this weekend. This is a team that was really the surprise of the league a year ago. When you were here in your first stint with Southeastern back in 2012 and 2013, they certainly look a lot different than they did back then. They won the league a year ago. They were a playoff team. They got after us last year in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. What challenges do they bring to the table this Saturday in a 4 o'clock kick at Strawberry Stadium?
Well, just schematically, they're a little bit different. They're an odd front team, so completely different than what we just saw this past week against McNeese. But they really like to play coverage and stuff. We should expect a little more run this week. We think we can run the ball against them and stuff. But they're a good football team. They play real hard. They've been last week. Houston Baptist was the number one offense in the nation statistically, and they really kept them from making any big plays on them. And made them drive the field. And so we got our work cut out for us. They're a real good football team, and they have the same record as we do, and so we need to come ready to go.
Well, Coach, thanks for stopping by, spending some time with us, and good luck this week against the Cardinals.
Thank you.
That's Coach Greg Stevens, offensive coordinator for your Southeastern Lions. Lions a year ago averaged 25.5 points per game. It's up to 37.5, so great job by the coaching staff, the offensive staff for sure, for almost 2 touchdowns better right now through this part of the season. Let's take a break. When we come back, Coach Scelfo will be back up here on the podium. We're going to break down Incarnate Word. We'll give you some Southland Conference standings. We're going to talk some homecoming. We got a lot more coming up for you here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Stay with us, everybody.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student-athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are
Southeastern!
All right, welcome back. This is Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. We just heard from offensive coordinator Greg Stevens. We now welcome back to the show the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Frank Scelfo. And Coach, what's your relationship like with Coach Stevens? Because I know for a majority of your career you were an offensive coordinator. So
yeah.
what's that relationship like with Coach Stevens?
Awesome. We spent a lot of time together just talking ball and philosophies and things like that, what we see, what each of us sees. I think our offensive staff does a good job working together. A.J. Hop and Joe Scelfo and Kerry Joseph in the run game, Mike, Kerry, Greg in the pass game. I just think there's so many things that are taking place, so many dynamics that with the staff working and pulling in one direction. Greg makes it easy because he's so open to, just listening. He doesn't I don't tell him you have to do certain things. I just, look at this is what I see. If you like it, do it. If you don't worry about it. And I just think I think he's a heck of a play caller. I really enjoyed, during the game sometimes some of the stuff that comes out and the way we're executing. And like you said, we've upped what we did from last year.
Yeah.
This year we're getting the results that we want. We're almost at 50% on third down conversions. Same thing on fourth down conversions. So I think, we're working in the direction we wanted to work into, being a physical run-first football team, but that we can take shots and throw the ball down the field.
Coach, this weekend you're going to take on Incarnate Word. This is a team that, like I just said to Coach Stevens, a few years ago they were one of the bottom teams in our conference.
My son played there.
And
I went to some of those games.
And they've made a drastic turnaround. New coach Eric Morris was there a year ago. He was Southern Conference Coach of the Year. John Copeland, their quarterback, was Newcomer of the Year. They put it to us a year ago. Let's just call it like it is. Scored 52 points on us over there
Absolutely.
in San Antonio. We scored like boom, boom, went up 14-0 in this game. And then they went on a run, and we really couldn't stop them. But this was a team that started out the year in conference by kind of getting run out the building a little bit by Sam Houston State.
Did.
But they have rebounded nicely and beat Abilene 2 weeks ago.
That's a big win right there, man.
And then they went last week to Houston Baptist, who, again, if you're not following the Southern Conference, say, oh, Houston Baptist. Houston Baptist was leading the nation in scoring. They were 4-1, and that was probably one of their biggest home games that they've had, in the fact that they're off to a great start. They were in the top 25 for the first time since they've been in Division I football. And Incarnate Word goes over there and gets a win 38-36. This is a red-hot football team you're going to play on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. They had to go to Houston Baptist to win. Houston Baptist is in a must-win situation. And they went in there and took a win, beat them 38-36, like you said. So they're going to come in here. We own identical records. We're 3-2 overall, 2-1 in the conference. It's a must-win for both teams. We're at home. We'll pack Strawberry Stadium. We'll have a heck of a crowd. Our fan base will be out there. The home side will be packed. Student section will be loud and rowdy. Go get the Bloody Marys early. Bring them in the game. Not Dr. Crane, not bring them in the game, but just, maybe in your stomach or whatever. However you do things, but just get them in the game. Fill it up. Get loud. Let's have a home field advantage because that's a good football team coming in. I think that Copeland is the key to them. Everything goes through him. He has such a pocket presence about him, and he's athletic so that when he does scramble and gets out of the pocket, his eyes don't look to run first. They look to throw the ball down the field first. He's got a unique ability that a lot of quarterbacks don't have where when he does scramble out, he's not a run-first guy. He's still looking for things down the field. Their receivers they do a good job getting open and off of those second and third cuts when he does scramble. They expect him to. So he's going to present a huge problem for us along with the running game. They got two running backs, King and Brown, that were there last year and really wreaked havoc on us in the run game. They're both back, and both of those guys are really having good seasons. So they got a good football team, and we got to be ready to play. But we got a pretty good team too, Alan.
Colt, throw up the Southland Conference standings right here. We're going to take a look at these real quick and just kind of show you what Coach is talking about. This is a big game. We'll look at the top 8 teams in the Southland Conference right now. Sam Houston's out to a 3-0 start after beating Stephen F. Austin this past week. Nichols got a big victory over UCA at home. They're 2-0 right now in the league. But Southeastern and Incarnate Word both at 2-1. So this is, I don't want to say it's a separation-type game, but the winner of this game is going to stay right there in the race. So this is a big one on Saturday at 4 o'clock.
It is. And we've got an advantage because we're at home. We're in Strawberry Stadium, and that's a home field advantage for us, and we got to take advantage of it. And we got to play well. the cliches about don't turn the football over, convert third downs, get touchdowns in the red zone. Those are true. They're not cliches. They really do. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. And they're going to come in knowing that they have to win. And they know that coming in that we have to win. So this is everything is on the table. So it's the perfect matchup for us right now. It's not a bounce-back game from McNeese. We're not bouncing back from anything. We're going forward, and UIW is the next one on the schedule, and that's who we're going to play. So we're going to prepare for them this week and do a good job and get ready for them on Saturday.
Coach, talk about what they do defensively. They it's kind of funny, 2019 football with everybody running around and throwing it all over the place. They held Houston Baptist to 36 points.
Right.
But, Houston Baptist was leading the nation in scoring. They've been scoring over 50 points a game. Yep. What did they do to really slow down the Huskies there in this football game over there in Houston this past week?
If you look at the numbers closely, you'll see that they dropped 8 in the coverage the entire time. And even though they threw for that many yards, they had 69 attempts.
Yeah, they threw it 69 times.
Yeah, so you're looking at about 5 yards per attempt, and that's where the hidden yardage is they were just it was all bubble screens and quick hitches and nows and slants, and they were coming up making a tackle. I think they're very impressive tackling in the open field. I think their defense does a good job of doing that. They come downhill. They keep everything in front of you. And just bend but don't break. You can get as much as you want, but after a while we're going to stop you. You're going to make a mistake, things like that. So they don't want to give up the big play. They'll allow you to run the football. They'll allow you to throw short routes, and we're just going to rally and tackle. So that's going to be philosophically, that's what it looks like. They didn't do that against Sam Houston in the first half. They kind of came down and said we're going to stop the run. Sam Houston hit some balls over the top, and at halftime they made the decision to change. Since then they played a good, solid second half against them. Beat Abilene Christian, beat Houston Baptist, so I don't see any reason for them to change coming in this week.
Coach, we were talking about Coach Morris, what a great job he did a year ago at Incarnate Word in his first year, and he's out of that Texas Tech, that Mike Leach, Cliff Kingsbury coaching tree. So when you think of that, you think of throwing the football. We're going to throw it and go tempo, and we saw some tempo this past week at McNeese, but you said it earlier. They run the football. They ran it for 212 yards last week against Houston Baptist. So they threw it 44, but they ran it 38. So they're pretty balanced 50-50. For an up-tempo team.
Right, and he's gonna. I think what Eric does is a good job taking advantage of the players that he has. Their scheme is similar, like you said. He comes from that tree, but the scheme is similar. But he runs the football more. He's more, I think, physical than some of those other guys have been in the past at those places. And their quarterback, like I said, everything goes through him, whether it be run or pass. He's going to run for some yardage, but I'll give that up if we can stop him from throwing when he does get outside the pocket. That's what we have to really be careful of.
Last week, John Copeland, 33 of 44, 342, and 3 touchdowns. So he can throw the football. He's a good player. He was a good player a year ago. I remember after the game, being like, man, the quarterback's pretty good.
Who was that, huh?
Yeah, nobody. Right. We didn't know at that point that they were they were good.
It was just you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. A lot of people was always, what happened? Well, I told you these guys were good. So they were good. Now, like I said, my son played there those years, 4 years there, and they weren't very good. That's a different looking team than they are now.
No doubt about that. Certainly, the last couple of times Incarnate Word has been to Hammond, it's been kind of some weird games. It was pouring down, raining in 2015, if y'all remember that. It was one of a torrential downpour. In 2017 is the game where we had to move it up because of a hurricane. We played at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we've had a couple of crazy games with Incarnate Word the last couple of times in Hammond. This will be the 7th meeting between the two schools. Southeastern leads the overall record 4-2. Lions are 2-1 against Incarnate Word.
The weather's going to be awesome this Saturday.
Oh, it's going to be great.
No rain, no hurricane, nothing. It's going to be like 75. I talked to Dr. Crane. He said, without a doubt, 75. It's going to be
Thank
beautiful.
goodness, because it was not 75 on Saturday.
It was a little bit warmer than 75 on Saturday, but it's going to be gorgeous this Saturday in Strawberry State.
Coach, does your team get pulled in a lot of different directions this week with homecoming week? Is that a concern at all?
It's always a concern. So you talk to them about, the game. What's the most important thing for you guys? It's the game. And I said that where you're really going to cherish this moment is that after you graduate, and then you come back to campus as an alumnus knowing that you won on that day. You won on homecoming day. And all the people that are coming back now, they're coming to see their friends and everything else, but they want to see success on the field by our football team. They're proud of the university. They're proud as they walk around campus. They're going to see everything. Some of the people that hadn't been back for years, they're going to see the changes that going on throughout campus. And then when they come to the game, they want to top it all off with a win. And that's where our guys have to realize, and I think they do, they'll be focused, is what's the most important thing and how they can best serve the alumnus is for them to go ahead and play well and win the game on Saturday.
Once again, it's a 4 o'clock kickoff in Strawberry Stadium this Saturday afternoon for homecoming. The homecoming parade will start at 12. So if you're trying to make plans to get out there to tailgate, you got to get there a little early because they're going to shut down some of those streets as the parade will start.
And I think we're going to have the line walk around 1:15 or so. So
it'll follow the parade kind of?
Yeah, it's kind of like Mary Hannah's going to tell me what to do here in a little bit. But I know we just follow them in, and it worked out really good last year, so I don't expect those changes to take place.
All right, let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take our final break. We come back. We're going to draw for our blanket. So we'll give
let
away,
me hold it again.
It's soft. We're going to give away a nice blanket here on our program. Also, if you're watching on the stream, if you have any questions for Coach Scelfo, if you want to send in a question, you can type it in the comment box there, and we will read it aloud here on our program. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we'll wrap it up right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southeastern!
What do you love most about being a student athlete at Southeastern?
So I chose teammates for life because on our golf team, nobody's from the same spot, but the friendships we've made, once we graduate, I know we'll always be friends, we'll always see each other, we'll always come back and visit.
All right, welcome back. We have about 5 minutes left to go here on Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo. You want to go ahead and do our drawing? We're going to draw this week. This is what we do. Every week we have a different prize. We've given away helmets, jerseys. This week it's a nice blanket, and we're going to give this away to everybody that comes in. It's a free entry. You just put your name in our clear bag here.
And we got a clear bag policy here at Topla also. Kimler's instituted it.
And we're going to we'll draw. Pull us a name out of there, Coach, and we'll give a prize away here. So if you haven't made a show, make sure you come on out. Mix them up there.
I did.
What you got? All right, who you got? Let's see. Oh, it's got to be rigged, huh? Junior Matthew.
Oh, Junior Matthew. It's gone to Peggy. We're giving it to Peggy.
Having the nice money. This thing's nice now.
Wait till he puts it up against his skin. He's going to love this.
That's nice. Oh, yeah. You might need that,
nice.
because, down here when it gets 70, you need a blanket in the stadium. So might need it for this weekend. But
that's for Miss Peggy.
It's supposed to be gorgeous weather on Saturday. It's homecoming, 4 o'clock kickoff in Strawberry Stadium. The Lions are taking on Incarnate Word. Again, we can't stress this enough. This is a big one. Lions are 3-2, 2-1 in the Southland Conference. Incarnate Word 3-2, 2-1. Incarnate Word was a co-conference champ a year ago.
Yeah.
They were in the playoffs. This is a good football team coming in here on Saturday.
They were where we wanted to be.
Right.
They were in the playoffs. They were conference champions. That's what we want. And I mean, that's where our vision is. That's where we want to go and go into the playoffs and then go further than what they went. But it starts this weekend, and it for us to continue on where we've been going and growing, this game is so important for us.
Early weather predictions.
Oh, boy.
The low is 54. The high is 75 on Saturday.
The high is 75.
We need it.
You better bring that blanket to the game, Junior.
It has been hot. So we're certainly glad to have a little bit of a break. Coach, we just have a couple of minutes left to go here on our show. It was a tough one this past week, a game that we trailed big early. We fought all the way back, had a couple of chances to win there in the fourth quarter. They just made a couple of plays. We didn't get it done. How do you turn the page and get ready for a really good football team this week? Give us your final thoughts of the night as we get ready for Incarnate Word on Saturday afternoon.
Now, maturity's going to turn the page,
Yep.
Alan. We have to understand that one's gone, and we move forward. Just like the Northwestern game, it was gone. We move forward to McNeese. So McNeese is gone. We're moving on UIW. We practiced. We studied them today. We practiced this afternoon. We'll have a good week of practice. Our guys will be ready. We'll play well on Saturday. I'd love it, man. I'm begging Hammond America to show up and be at this game on both sides of the stadium. Our student body, it's so critical for them to be there. They just give us so much energy, and our guys feel it. And it's so important when they're in the stadium to just be loud, just be yourself. And we do. We've got some really happy students that come to the games. They're just they're excited about what they're doing. So I can't wait for them to get in there. Our players will feel it. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. The weather's going to be great. It's going to be a beautiful day. Okay, it's college football. We got a great venue for college football. Come on out.
And you like afternoon games.
I love them. I absolutely love them.
I know you said that a year ago. You said, I'm an afternoon college football guy.
I just think, with the beautiful sunshine and the people in the stands and everybody's out and, it helps the downtown area. We finish up at 7:30. Boom, everybody's coming out down here. And, you're going to see people. I think homecoming, everybody coming in. The festivities, just seeing. I'm going to meet a bunch of people that I hadn't met yet, and I'm looking forward to that. So, I don't know. I get excited about it. The game is the most important thing for me, but I also know there's so many other great things that are going on around campus, and people need to come out and enjoy it.
Lions are undefeated in Strawberry Stadium here in 2019, trying to stay that way. 4 o'clock on Saturday against Incarnate Word. The Lions are 2-1 in Southland Conference play. Incarnate Word 2-1 in Southland Conference play. The Cardinals come in on a 2-game winning streak. We need everyone in Strawberry Stadium to help us pull through and get a victory and move to 3-1. We are completely out of time here. We want to thank Coach Greg Stevens for stopping by and spending some time with us here this evening. We will have a show next week, so it's a bye week next week, but we will have a show. So make sure you come on out here to Toplat.
Got a special guest coming in too.
Yeah, we're gonna have Ayla Gazzardo.
That's right.
A women's basketball coach will be here next week.
She's awesome.
So we're gonna talk to her as well. So we'll hope to see you in Strawberry Stadium. We want to thank everyone who is associated with this show, gets up and on the air and on the stream. So we will see you next time right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented, as always, by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Line up, everybody.
Broadcasts on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network are a product of Lion Sport Properties. For more information on how you can support future broadcasts, Lion Sport Properties is available at area code 985-549-2570.